Quadriga started in December 2013. According to Gerald Cotten, its 25-year-old founder and CEO, it met a need in Canada's growing crypto market. Canadians wanted to buy Bitcoin, but it wasn't easy to do so. Right before Quadriga launched, Bitcoin's value shot up from under $100 to over $1,000 in 2013. Quadriga offered Canadians a way to buy Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. At first, Quadriga users could only fund their accounts with Canadian dollars or Bitcoin. They could then trade their assets with other users. The platform made it simple for Canadians to deposit and withdraw money in Canadian dollars, making it easier to invest in Bitcoin. Quadriga made money by charging fees to buyers and sellers on its trading platform. These fees were between 0.2% and 0.5% of each trade's value and were taken from the trade proceeds. Clients also had to pay fees to fund or withdraw from their accounts in most cases. Quadriga's first year saw its client base grow steadily, even though Bitcoin prices dropped from their late 2013 highs. By the end of 2014, Quadriga's clients had about 3,600 Bitcoin, 2 million Canadian dollars, and 400,000 US dollars in their accounts. Cotten, who had just graduated from business school, incorporated Quadriga in British Columbia in 2013 and named himself the only director. Quadriga's documents described Cotten as an early player in the crypto field who had been involved in alternative payment systems for 11 years. In late 2014, Cotten moved from British Columbia back to Ontario, and in mid-2016, he and his future wife, Robertson, moved to Nova Scotia. Cotten ran the business from wherever he was, whether at home or traveling. Cotten co-founded Quadriga with Patryn, who was involved from 2013 to 2016. Patryn had a criminal past. He was convicted in the US in 2005 for conspiracy to transfer identification documents related to an online money laundering service under his previous name, Omar Danani. After Patryn left Quadriga in 2016, Cotten managed Quadriga alone and had full control over the company's money and crypto assets. He oversaw a team of contractors who worked remotely on tasks like maintaining the platform's technical side, verifying account IDs, and handling customer inquiries. Cotten was the only person controlling Quadriga's operations. As one contractor put it, Jerry was the gatekeeper. Everything had to go through him. Quadriga's clients had different levels of experience with crypto assets. The most active clients traded hundreds of millions of dollars and completed thousands of trades. Some were sophisticated traders using complex strategies with automated bots that could analyze market activity and trade faster than humans. Others simply wanted to capitalize on the rising crypto prices they had heard about from friends. Some were so new to the market that they relied on Quadriga for basic information about crypto assets and trading. Others used the platform to exchange different fiat currencies. Talking to Quadriga clients and analyzing their activity showed that some clients trusted Quadriga and believed it had safeguards like those of regulated financial institutions. For instance, a client who couldn't withdraw $40,000 in December 2018 thought Quadriga was monitored and protected by the government. He didn't consider that he might lose all his money if something went wrong. Some clients trusted Quadriga because it was a Canadian company. One person who couldn't withdraw $200,000 said, "It never crossed my mind that something like this would happen in Canada," while another said, "It is a Canadian company and I am Canadian, so I felt comfortable." Clients might also have thought that blockchain technology made platforms more transparent and safer. Client behavior also showed their trust in Quadriga. While some withdrew their assets shortly after trading, about 68% of active clients kept their assets on the platform for over 30 days, and 53% kept them there for at least 90 days. This indicates that many clients believed their assets were safe and could be withdrawn whenever they wanted. Let's delve into how Quadriga operated as a platform. To become a client of Quadriga, you had to create an account on their website and fund it using fiat currency or crypto assets. If you wanted to use fiat currency, you needed to provide a piece of identification for verification. Once verified, you could start trading fiat and crypto assets with other clients on Quadriga's platform. The platform didn't show you the names of the people you were trading with. Initially, Quadriga focused on trading fiat and Bitcoin, which was the most popular crypto asset at the time. Over time, they added other crypto assets like Ether, Ethereum Classic, Litecoin, and several Bitcoin forks such as Bitcoin Cash, Gold, and SV. Despite this, Bitcoin remained the most traded asset on the platform. More than 82% of the trading volume involved Bitcoin and Ether. All crypto-to-crypto trades used Bitcoin as the base because the platform didn't support direct trading between other crypto assets. Trades within Quadriga were not recorded on the blockchain, unlike funding or withdrawal transactions to a client's personal wallet, which were recorded on the blockchain. Trades between clients on the platform were only noted in Quadriga's internal records, accessible only to certain Quadriga staff. To understand how Quadriga managed assets, it's important to know that the assets in clients' accounts were held by Quadriga, not the clients. When clients funded their accounts, they gave up control of their assets and received a claim against Quadriga for the value of the assets. Clients traded these claims with each other, meaning they were not directly buying and selling crypto assets, but trading the right to receive assets from Quadriga. For example, if client A bought Bitcoin from client B using Canadian dollars, the Bitcoin wasn't sent to client A's wallet, and the Canadian dollars weren't sent to client B. Instead, their Quadriga accounts were adjusted to reflect their new claims to these assets. To actually get the assets, a client had to request a withdrawal, which Quadriga would fulfill if it had the assets available. Clients depended entirely on Quadriga to honor these withdrawal requests. Quadriga assured clients that their funds were safe and could be withdrawn anytime. However, in reality, Quadriga's practices were flawed and risky. They pooled client assets together instead of keeping them separate. Even if a client's account showed they had one Bitcoin, Quadriga might not have that specific Bitcoin for them or any Bitcoin at all. Quadriga's website claimed that security was a top priority and that they used cold storage for the majority of the Bitcoins within their system. They made similar claims on Reddit and in emails stating that clients' cryptocurrencies were held in secure offline multi-signature wallets. These claims were false. Most assets were stored in hot wallets or on other trading platforms, and many assets were not stored at all because Cotten was depleting them. From the start, Cotten was heavily involved in handling the crypto assets. By 2016, he was the only person controlling these assets. He frequently moved clients' assets to accounts he controlled on other platforms. At one point, he misled a contractor into thinking a certain wallet address was a Quadriga cold storage address when it was actually a deposit address for his account on another platform. Clients were unaware of this practice, which exposed them to additional risks associated with those external platforms. Cotten also traded with client assets on these external platforms, exposing Quadriga to trading risks. Records from 3 of these platforms show that Cotten lost $28 million of client assets trading on them. He likely traded on other platforms as well, but I couldn't quantify his activity there. Cotten's unauthorized trading with client funds was fraudulent. Quadriga and Cotten did not inform clients about their custody and storage practices. Clients couldn't verify if Quadriga had the assets to back their claims or monitor how Quadriga managed their assets. Trades within Quadriga were not recorded on the blockchain, and the platform provided limited information. Transfers of assets to other platforms were recorded on the blockchain under wallet addresses, not individual or corporate names, so clients couldn't track their assets' movement meaningfully. Now, let's discuss how Quadriga managed fiat assets. As the company grew, handling fiat assets became challenging. Initially, Quadriga held client fiat assets in bank accounts, but over time, banks began refusing to hold Quadriga-related funds. Cotten expressed frustration with Canadian banks on Reddit in 2017, calling them incredibly anti-Bitcoin and showing interest in alternatives to avoid the banking system altogether. By 2017, Quadriga relied almost entirely on third-party payment processors to hold its clients' fiat assets. Quadriga also used payment processors to transfer fiat currency to and from clients. A network of individuals and companies, both Canadian and international, processed transactions like wire transfers and credit card payments. About $800 million flowed through the 3 largest payment processors, earning them millions in fees. Quadriga did millions of dollars in cash transactions. One major client was a Canadian Bitcoin ATM company whose president personally delivered suitcases of cash to Cotten to fund his Quadriga account, sometimes using private jets for quick deliveries. Quadriga received over $20 million in cash from this ATM company. Cotten used this cash to fulfill client withdrawal requests by mailing envelopes of cash across the country. Platform data shows that $14 million of client withdrawals were completed this way. Clients were not given meaningful information about how Quadriga handled fiat assets. They knew some details about how their own cash amounts were transferred to and from Quadriga, but they couldn't see how the company managed fiat assets overall. Reviews confirmed that from at least 2015, Quadriga didn't keep client assets separate from its own. They pooled all funds together and used client assets for their own purposes, such as paying operating expenses and Cotten's speculative trading. There was no separation between Quadriga's assets, client assets, and Cotten's personal assets. Cotten used funds from Quadriga for his lifestyle without justification. Clients were unaware that their assets were being used for Quadriga's operations or Cotten's personal use. Let me share some information about Quadriga's books and records that I gathered. During my review, I discovered that Quadriga did not keep proper records of its operations. The trading platform tracked some details like client account funding, trades, withdrawals, and balances, which helped track Quadriga's liabilities to its clients. However, since 2016, there were no accounting ledgers or financial records for the company's finances or the assets it controlled. There was no evidence that Quadriga kept track of its actual cash balances or its crypto assets. Quadriga's lack of proper books and records hid its worsening financial situation and allowed Cotten to secretly spend and trade client assets, which I'll discuss next. From the start, in December 2013, Cotten traded with Quadriga clients using multiple alias accounts filled with fake assets. Over 97% of this trading was done through an account named Chris Marquet. Other aliases included Deceptor Jerry, Artwo and C3PO. Cotten manually credited these accounts with fake crypto assets and fiat currency, described in the records as administrative adjustment, in-person payment, and bank wire. These credits weren't backed by real assets from Cotten or Quadriga, so we call them fake assets. Cotten essentially had an unlimited credit facility, allowing him to trade without real assets backing his trades. Quadriga clients unknowingly bore the risks and losses from Cotten's trading. Cotten accumulated over $115 million in trading losses over the platform's lifespan, and there was no sign that he used any funds other than client funds to cover these losses. Instead, he used other clients' assets to pay out clients he had traded with, creating a shortfall between what was owed to clients and the actual assets held by Quadriga. Cotten was not authorized to use client assets to cover his losses, nor was this disclosed to clients. Essentially, he was running Quadriga like a Ponzi scheme, funding client withdrawals with other clients' deposits. This was fraudulent. Cotten's trading involved two main types of transactions. In one, he used fake Canadian dollars to buy real crypto assets. In the other, he sold fake crypto assets for real Canadian dollars. When Cotten used fake Canadian dollars to buy real crypto assets, like Bitcoin, if the price went up, the Chris Marquet account profited. If the price went down, the account suffered a loss. The client who sold real Bitcoin for fake dollars was entitled to withdraw real Canadian dollars, even though none were involved in the transaction. If Bitcoin prices rose, Cotten could sell the Bitcoin for more than the purchase price, covering the client's withdrawal and making a profit. If prices fell, Cotten would take extra assets from Quadriga's pool to cover the withdrawal, depleting client assets. In the second type of transaction, Cotten sold fake crypto assets for real Canadian dollars. If the price went down, the Chris Marquet account profited. If prices went up, the account suffered a loss. For instance, when Cotten traded a fake Bitcoin for real Canadian dollars, the client buying the Bitcoin was entitled to withdraw a real Bitcoin. If prices fell, Cotten could use the Canadian dollars to buy a Bitcoin and satisfy the withdrawal, keeping the surplus. If prices rose, he would take extra funds from Quadriga's pool to cover the client's withdrawal, further depleting client assets. Whether Cotten was trying to profit, increase trading volume, or improve liquidity, his trading severely harmed Quadriga's finances and eventually led to its collapse. Regarding Cotten's impact on Quadriga's trading volume, the platform claimed high trading volumes. They advertised that Quadriga was the fastest growing Bitcoin exchange in Canada, emphasizing its high volume as a sign of safety and fairness. Cotten himself claimed Quadriga had real orders and trades, unlike other exchanges that faked their volume. In 2018, he stated that neither Quadriga nor any affiliate was a counterparty to trades on the platform. These claims were false. Cotten's alias accounts contributed significantly to trading volume. Through the Chris Marquet account alone, Cotten completed over 250,000 trades from 2015 to 2018. While Quadriga boasted about its dominance in the Canadian crypto trading space, Cotten was involved in at least 87% of all Bitcoin trades settled in Canadian dollars in the platform's first full year and 35% over the platform's lifespan. Cotten also traded with himself using his alias accounts. As crypto trading grew more popular, client activity increased, and so did trading in Cotten's alias accounts. In 2016, the total trading volume in Bitcoin settled in Canadian dollars on Quadriga was about $72 million, with $24 million attributed to Cotten's accounts. In 2017, this volume increased about 16 times to $1.2 billion, with Cotten's accounts making up around 30%. In 2018, Cotten's trading accounted for almost 40% of total trading volume. Clients were not informed that Cotten was trading on the platform or when he was their counterparty. Quadriga's reported trading volume was important for some clients as it indicated the platform's safety. One client mentioned that the most crucial factor in choosing a trading platform was its volume, believing higher volume indicated more safety and more people trading. The chart you are seeing shows the proportion of trading involving Cotten compared to client-to-client trades from 2013 to 2019. For example, in December 2013, Cotten was involved in nearly all trades. The total platform volume is shown on the line graph and the right axis for the same period. Let's take a look at the period between 2015 and 2017, when Quadriga expanded as Bitcoin prices rose. The increase in Bitcoin prices helped Quadriga become the largest crypto asset trading platform in Canada. During 2015 and 2016, Bitcoin prices steadily climbed, and Quadriga saw a consistent increase in its active client base and trading volume. In 2015, Cotten and Patryn tried to make Quadriga a public company by listing its shares on a stock exchange. At that time, the company operated out of Vancouver under Cotten's leadership with some involvement from Patryn. However, the listing did not happen. Cotten found the work involved to be too much and abandoned the process in early 2016. After the IPO attempt was dropped, Patryn left the company along with the CFO, legal counsel, and accountants. From then on, Cotten was the sole director and officer of Quadriga. He was the main person in control, overseeing and directing Quadriga's operations. Cotten even told new contractors that Patryn was not a real person, claiming that the stories about Patryn online were made up by a competitor to damage Quadriga's reputation. As I mentioned earlier, Cotten was involved in fake asset trading through the Chris Marquet account. Between December 2015 and February 2016, Cotten used this account to buy real Bitcoin from clients using fake Canadian dollars. By the end of February 2016, he had credited himself with about $1 million in fake dollars and used them to purchase around 1,700 real Bitcoin from clients. This created a risk for the account and ultimately the clients if Bitcoin prices dropped. Between December 2015 and February 2016, Bitcoin prices were relatively stable, averaging between $500 and $600. As a result, the Chris Marquet account did not see significant unrealized profits or losses during this period. However, by the end of February 2016, Cotten still held the 1,700 Bitcoin he had purchased, leaving this position open and exposed to the risk of a drop in Bitcoin value. Between March and May 2016, Cotten sold his 1,700 real Bitcoin to other clients in exchange for fiat currency and Ether, closing his open Bitcoin position. From June 2016 onwards, Cotten began opening new Bitcoin positions in reverse, selling fake Bitcoin to clients in exchange for real Canadian dollars. While previously Cotten and ultimately the clients would lose if Bitcoin prices fell, now he would lose if Bitcoin prices rose. By the end of November 2016, Cotten had sold 3,800 fake Bitcoin, creating a large naked short position in Bitcoin and a significant risk to clients if Bitcoin prices continued to climb. In 2017, the crypto asset market saw soaring prices and trading volumes. A flood of new client requests overwhelmed the platform, and account verification requests piled up as the small team of Quadriga contractors struggled to keep up. Cotten hired additional contractors to manage the growing backlog of new account requests. The chart on your screen shows the price movements of Bitcoin on the left axis compared to Ether on the right axis between 2014 and early 2019, represented by month-end prices. Throughout 2017, Cotten's trading on the Quadriga platform mainly involved purchasing Ether with fake Canadian dollars and fake Bitcoin credited to his Chris Marquet account, and selling fake Bitcoin credited to his Chris Marquet account in exchange for real Canadian dollars. By the end of December 2017, Bitcoin and Ether prices had skyrocketed to $18,000 and $900 respectively, up from $1,311 in December 2016. Quadriga faced a setback in June 2017 when a coding error cut off access to about $10 million worth of Ether based on current values, held in a Cotten-controlled wallet, which remains inaccessible today. Cotten claimed not to be worried about the loss, telling a Quadriga contractor a few months ago monthly revenue was $200,000 in 1 month. Last month we did $1 million. Current trajectory, we see $5 million soon, and the trapped ETH contract is a small side project. Yet, around this time, Cotten credited the Chris Marquet trading account with the largest single fake amount ever, a fake $100 million. As previously mentioned, Cotten used the Chris Marquet account to purchase significant amounts of Ether with fake Canadian dollars. Consequently, he needed real Canadian dollars to meet withdrawal requests. Cotten addressed this shortage in 2 main ways. First, he moved crypto assets off the platform into accounts on other platforms under his name, then traded these assets for cash or other crypto assets, often at a loss. This drained the platform of assets and worsened the shortage. Additionally, as crypto asset prices rose in the second half of 2017, Quadriga received hundreds of millions in Canadian dollar deposits from new clients, which Cotten used to fund withdrawals. Although this kept the platform afloat, it was a short-term solution. Cotten was depleting the assets backing clients' account balances and creating an ever-growing financial problem. Cotten further exacerbated the situation by siphoning assets off the platform to fund his lifestyle. Between May 2016 and January 2018, he transferred approximately $24 million of client funds to himself and Robertson, despite his salary being set at $65,000 per year, according to his January 2015 employment agreement. Cotten purchased luxury items like a Tesla, a Lexus, a yacht, a plane, a share in a private jet, and multiple properties. He and Robertson travel frequently, Cotten boasting to a contractor in mid-2018 that they had visited 56 countries, 37 with Jen. This lavish lifestyle was funded with client assets that Cotten fraudulently misappropriated. In the months before his death, Cotten returned about $10 million in previously misappropriated client funds to Quadriga, which was then distributed to clients. If you have reached this far, you now have got enough information to understand the concluding chapter that covers the events leading to the downfall of Quadriga in 2018. As 2017 saw high prices for crypto assets, 2018 was a year of significant declines. Bitcoin prices peaked in mid-December 2017 and then started to fall sharply. A few weeks later, Ether prices also dropped. The decline in crypto prices heavily impacted the value of Cotten's Ether holdings, which he had bought using fake dollars and fake Bitcoin. While Cotten's short Bitcoin positions benefited from the falling prices, his larger Ether positions suffered substantial losses. Demand for crypto was decreasing and Quadriga clients were cashing out. Through his Chris Marquet account, Cotten used fake Canadian dollars to buy crypto assets from clients wanting to sell, but he needed real Canadian dollars to fulfill their withdrawal requests. This was challenging because Cotten had been misusing client assets to cover withdrawals and personal expenses for months, leaving him with a shortage of Canadian dollars, American dollars, and crypto assets. In January 2018, the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, CIBC, froze accounts linked to Bilofi, a main payment processor for Quadriga, making $26 million in client funds inaccessible. Litigation over the frozen funds lasted throughout 2018, and the money remained unavailable to Quadriga. These funds were eventually released to the payment processor and later transferred to Ernst & Young after Cotten's death. Quadriga also likely lost access to funds held with an offshore payment processor. Records showed a balance of $12 million as of April 2018, but at some point the payment processor stopped communicating with Quadriga. After Cotten's death, the processor reported holding a near zero balance for Quadriga. Ernst & Young, on June 19, 2019, stated that the processor did not provide documentation to support this claim. Efforts to obtain information from the processor yielded no documents. By early 2018, clients were flooding Reddit with complaints about delayed funds. Media outlets began reporting on clients whose funds were missing or whose transactions were delayed by weeks or months. Cotten dismissed these concerns, blaming the CIBC account freeze or the clients themselves rather than Quadriga's issues. A Quadriga representative told the media that no customer had ever lost money due to funding or withdrawal issues. In reality, Quadriga's financial situation was dire, with assets on the platform dwindling. By March 2018, Cotten was operating Quadriga like a revolving door. Deposits from clients were immediately redirected to fund other clients' withdrawals. However, the outflow of real assets, especially Canadian dollars, far exceeded the inflow. To keep up with withdrawal demands, Cotten sold the platform's remaining crypto assets at low market prices. He also transferred some of the $24 million he had previously taken for personal use back to Quadriga. Between August and December 2018, Cotten transferred about $10 million from his personal bank account to a payment processor which distributed it to clients. The chart shows the gap between Quadriga's assets and liabilities, with crypto assets valued in Canadian dollars from May 2017 to early 2019. Although the gap decreased in 2018 due to falling crypto prices, Quadriga was unlikely to return to solvency. In October 2018, Cotten and Robertson married in a private ceremony in Scotland and planned to honeymoon in India, where they were funding an orphanage's construction. In early December, already in India, Cotten transferred $500,000 from his personal account to fund client withdrawals. Shortly after, he and Robertson checked into the ultra-luxury Oberoi Hotel in Jaipur, India. Cotten died in India on December 9, 2018, while on his honeymoon. New directors were appointed and decided to suspend Quadriga's activities. The Quadriga website went offline. Cotten's death revealed the full extent of Quadriga's problems. It was widely believed that lost or inaccessible private keys caused the asset shortfall, but this was not the case. Quadriga was already in crisis before Cotten's death and likely would have collapsed even if Cotten had lived. By the time of his death, the platform owed about $215 million to clients, but had almost no assets to cover these liabilities. By November 2016, Cotten had injected so many fake assets into the platform that its eventual insolvency was all but assured. Despite this, Quadriga continued to accept new clients and deposits until it was ultimately shut down by the new directors, even while it was teetering on the brink of collapse. There is a lot of speculation about his death being fake, backed up by a lot of evidence that kind of makes sense if you look at them carefully. The circumstances are dodgy that they chose to have their honeymoon in India, and he suddenly dies from complications of Crohn's disease. Most people believe that India is notorious for forging fake death certificates. They believe that this was the reason why Cotten chose India for his supposed honeymoon. There is a lot of bizarre things that are suspicious, including his death certificate, which spells his name wrong. He was supposedly buried in a closed casket in Canada, even though there is no evidence his body was ever moved from India. And why would it need to be a closed casket? No one but him can access accounts. He ran a whole market on a laptop by himself with no other employees or partners. Then he suddenly dies when he would be in massive debt for delayed payments and would likely be convicted for fraud or money laundering. Either this is a 1 in 100 million coincidence or he is still alive. It is also important to note that this mild-mannered Canadian had a track record of deception and theft going back to his teenage years. Cotten's history of malfeasance, uncovered in part by some investigators, began when he was just 15 years old. That was when he entered the shady world of online high-yield investment programs, also known as HYP or Ponzi schemes. It was through that world that he became familiar with digital currencies, well before Bitcoin even existed. Cotten was working with future QuadrigaCX co-founder Michael Patryn to help HYP operators and others redeem or move their e-gold, which was a gold-backed digital token that was later shut down by the FBI for its role in money laundering. And yet, according to every piece of evidence investigators and journalists could dig up, the conclusion stands that Gerald Cotten really did die unexpectedly in India. Many journalists retraced Cotten's death and found no credible evidence of forgery or body doubles or other foul play. Canadian law enforcement agencies seem very satisfied and have refused to exhume Cotten's body for DNA testing. Do you think Cotten is still alive? Do you think he probably faked his death to help him avoid getting prosecuted for mishandling public funds, fraud, and other charges against him? Let us know in the comment section below. This is Luke, and this video was brought to you by the legendary gamer. Have a good night.